You will go to bed tonight, and not a single person will have genuinely asked how you are. And the most painful part, you've stopped expecting them to. It's 7:14 a.m. The alarm goes off. You silence it before the second buzz, a reflex so practiced it happens before you're even fully awake. You lie there for a moment, just a moment, staring at the ceiling the way you do every morning, not thinking anything dramatic, not feeling anything sharp, just that low, familiar weight, the one that doesn't have a name, the one that's just there, like weather. You make coffee, 1 cup. You've never once had to think about how many cups to make. The machine finishes, the sound stops, and the apartment goes quiet again. That's specific quiet, not peaceful, just empty. You pick up your phone. There's nothing new. You already knew there'd be nothing new, but you checked anyway. You always check anyway. And that, right there, that tiny, automatic, hopeful check is the most honest thing you do all day. You get dressed. You look fine. You always look fine. That's the thing nobody understands about your kind of loneliness. It doesn't show. There's no visible wound, no obvious damage. You are completely, fluently, exhaustingly fine. And every morning, you put that on like a coat, walk out the door, and perform a version of yourself that the world finds easy to be around. The version that doesn't need anything. The version that's always okay. The version that makes it simple for everyone else. You've been wearing that coat so long, you've forgotten what you look like without it. The street outside is already full. Everyone moving with purpose. Everyone seemingly going towards something or someone. You move through it like water through water. Present, but leaving no trace. A woman laughs loudly into her phone. 2 men in jackets argue about something trivial and important. A couple walks slowly, their shoulders touching. Not even holding hands, just touching, like it costs nothing, like it's ordinary. You notice that. You notice everything. That's one of the things loneliness builds in you. This unbearable, precise attention to every form of connection you're not part of. At work, you are reliable, professional, easy. You listen well in meetings. You do what you say you'll do. You don't cause problems. And in a peculiar economy of office life, that makes you invisible because people only truly see 2 kinds of colleagues, the ones who create energy and the ones who create problems. You do neither. So you exist in the 3rd category, the one nobody names, the one that just quietly keeps everything running while the room arranges itself around other people. You said something today, a good point, a real contribution. It landed softly and disappeared. 8 minutes later, someone else said almost the same thing. The room responded. Someone laughed. Someone said, "Yeah, exactly." You looked down at your coffee, filed it away, added it to the collection. Here's the part you've never said out loud. Not to anyone, not even to yourself, clearly, because if you'd said it clearly, it would have been too much to carry. But here it is. You are not lonely because you're alone. You are lonely because you have been unseen by person after person after person for so long that you have started to wonder if you were actually there. Not depression, not self-pity, something quieter and stranger than both. The genuine, creeping uncertainty about whether the version of you that exists inside your own head has ever actually been witnessed by another human being, not performed, not presented, witnessed. And the answer, if you're honest, is maybe once, maybe almost, maybe not yet. You stopped reaching out around 2 years ago. Not a decision, just a slow, rational conclusion. You had noticed a pattern. You would reach out, there would be warmth, real warmth. Plans would be made. Plans would dissolve. Weeks would pass. You would reach out again. Same warmth, same dissolution. And at some point, your nervous system did the math and said, this is not sustainable. So you stopped initiating, quietly, without announcement. And here is what you discovered. Almost nobody noticed. Almost nobody reached back. And that silence was not a punishment. That's what made it so hard. It was just the natural state of things without you holding it together. You were the one who cared more. In almost every relationship, in almost every friendship, you were the one who cared more. And the moment you stopped proving it, the connection dissolved, like it was never load-bearing to begin with. So you have walls, tall ones, elegant ones. You furnished them nicely. Books, music, a rich, detailed inner world that most people will never get access to. You've called those walls introversion. You've called them independence. You've called them preference. And maybe some of that is true. But if you go quiet for a moment, if you set down the story you've been telling yourself, what's actually underneath it is simpler. You got tired of being the only one trying, and you decided that being alone on your own terms was cleaner than being lonely inside a relationship with someone who barely knew you were there. That was not weakness, that was self-preservation. But self-preservation kept long enough starts to look like a life sentence. I want to tell you something now, and I need you to hear it not as motivation, not as the part of the video where things get better, but as a cold, clear psychological fact. The loneliness you have been living is not random. It is not bad luck. It is not proof of your unworthiness. It is the almost inevitable result of being a person with unusual depth, moving through a world that mostly rewards surface. You feel things that most people don't have language for. You notice things that most people walk straight past. You want a kind of connection, honest, unhurried, real, that most people have never even thought to want. And that specificity, that standard, has made you hard to match. Not hard to love, hard to match. There is a significant difference. The philosopher Blaise Pascal wrote that all humanity's problems come from the inability to sit quietly alone in a room. You have never had that problem. You have been sitting quietly in rooms your entire life, building something in the silence that people who were never lonely will never fully possess. An eye for truth, a tolerance for depth, an immunity to small talk that goes nowhere, a capacity for the kind of friendship that when it finally arrives feels less like meeting someone new and more like recognizing someone you somehow already knew. That person exists, more than one of them. They are also sitting in quiet rooms right now, wondering if anyone will ever really see them. The cruelest joke of loneliness is how many lonely people are within reach of each other and don't know it. I'm not going to tell you it gets easier. I don't know your life. I don't know how long you've been carrying this or how heavy it's gotten. What I will tell you, the one thing I am certain of is this: the version of you that developed in the silence is not a lesser version. It is not the consolation prize version. It is the version with the most accurate map of the human interior of anyone in most rooms you will ever enter. That is not nothing. That is not small. That is the thing that will make you, to the right person, feel like finally coming home. Tonight, you'll probably make dinner for one. Check your phone one more time before bed, set an alarm you don't need anyone else to hear, and lie in the dark for a moment before sleep takes you. And in that moment, don't perform fine. Not in your own head, not in the last private space you have. Just let it be what it is, heavy, real, yours. And then let it be something else too. Evidence. Evidence that you are still here, still feeling, still waiting for the version of your life that matches the depth of what's inside you. It hasn't arrived yet, but you haven't missed it. You can't miss something that is specifically, exactly coming for you. Go to sleep. Tomorrow, catch one moment, not a conversation, not a plan, not a breakthrough. One moment where something real passes between you and another person. A look, a laugh, a silence that doesn't feel empty for once. Just one. That's the whole assignment. If a line in this video lived in your chest a little longer than it should have, type it below. Don't explain it, just put it there, because somewhere in the comments is someone who needs to read your exact words to feel less alone tonight. And that, without trying, without performing, without being anything other than honest, is connection, which means you're already better at this than you think.